Morning and welcome to the shed. Kicking off another new project, something a bit different. One of my subscribers, I'll put a link up there to his channel, he does a lot of carp fishing and I used to work with him, and he suggests I do something fishing related, which is fine. He said, how about creating a lure or something in lead that you can then go and catch a fish with. So I think that's a good idea. I'm not exactly quite sure how this is going to go. But I've been giving it some thought, and I thought, well, what I'll try and do is, using materials that I've got available in the shed and my fishing tackle box, I'd try and create some kind of well, a lure for perch, chub, probably end up catching a pike. Now the obvious choice would be to do a jig head, something like that, but that's a bit boring. That's just a hook with some lead on the end of it. So what I want to do is try and create something a bit more like this, but with a lead head, so that the jig head is part of the body, and I'm going to make this out of my silicone, which isn't as flexible as this hot pour silicone that you use for these sorts of things. So I'm going to make a mould out of silicone and pour my silicone into it. Hopefully I'll be able to separate the mould, and we'll end up with something about like that, but I'm going to have a paddle tail. This is a paddle tail there. Now I'm terrible with lure fishing. I can't get on with jig heads. I've tried them. I don't know if it's the water around here, too much weed, that sort of stuff, but I'm going to persevere and try and catch a fish at the end of this. A perch, a chub, or a pike. There's some rivers around here with big perch in. Never can seem to find them. I've only ever caught one decent one, but that's where we'll start. Okay, so how am I going to make this thing? Okay, so this is, I'm not sure what size that is, a 2 or 4, I don't know. So this is your standard jig head, but as I say, I want to make that the head. I was hoping to use these offset hooks because they're really nice. Again, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. Which you kind of Texas rig things with, which would be good. It means that the hook is hidden, so it becomes kind of weedless. Again, I don't know how much of that you can see, but it'll sit like so. However, I don't think there's enough room for a lead jig head. Let me cut that off there because that's doing my head in. Can't do it. Okay, here. I don't think there's enough room on there for a lead jig head and the eye of the hook. The point's going to just be too close to the lead, I think. But anyway, so basically I'm combining all of my skills: lead melting, silicone mould making, silicone pouring, fishing. I'm going to make the body of the fish myself, otherwise I'm just, you know, I could obviously take a copy of something like that and just re-pour it, but that's a bit boring. So I'm going to try and either carve. As I say, I've got to use everything. I've got to use things that are in my shed. Either carve something out of a piece of wood that I've got lying around and use that as a mould form, or I thought maybe the plasticine might work. Again, my modelling skills aren't very good, but might be able to come up with something. At least it's quite flexible then. And if I make a mistake, I can just start again. So you'll probably see me try both methods. Might even try doing 2 lures. I don't know. So let's go on this journey of discovery and see how we get on. Hopefully we'll end up catching a fish at the end, but that could take days. One other thing, I don't have any airbrush or paints or anything like that to use, so it's basically going to be a yellow lure and maybe I'll felt tip pen some stripes on there, but it probably won't make a lot of difference. If they're going to go for it, they'll go for it anyway. Okay, so that's my first attempt. Just got the basic shape. It's not too bad. Does look more like a perch than a roach. Actually, it looks, God knows what it looks like. Anyway, so I've got a bit of a paddle tail. It's a bit heavy on the old body work, but oh, look at that, that's not very good. I'll keep working on it, see if I can improve it. I might even add some scales or something, just to give it a bit of extra. I'm not sure if it's going to be thick enough, but it's certainly deep enough. Okay, carry on. So, you may have seen my artistic skills. I've cut the head off, so this bit is going to be lead, and this bit is going to be silicone. But I've just been for a little walk to have a little think about how I'm going to, because I was a bit worried about how I'm going to create a mould. I thought I'd use a little plastic container, but I've decided I'm going to build a mould. It's the only way. But then I did think that as I don't like these lures very much, I might be able to melt them down and use that kind of silicone. At least I'll get a bit of colour in there then. Might give that a go. We'll see. I've never done it before. I haven't got a microwave, so I'll have to do it on my stove. But it might work, and it'll be easier to pour. Failing that, I'll just use the silicone within the silicone. So yeah, so I've got my 2 pieces of me fish ready. I'm going to make a small mould, low, and I was also thinking, well, how am I going to get this suspended? I need it to be dead level so that I can get the seam along here. So again, I had a little thought. If I get a couple of pins, tack those into the wood, I should be able to pin that in exactly the right position, because it needs to be parallel. And I'll probably do both pieces in one mould and then cut the mould in half. So that's the next stage. There's a close-up. I don't think that's too bad. It's a bit clumpy, but I think it'll do. I'll probably have another go. If this works and I catch a fish, I might try something a bit more technical. As I say, my artistic skills aren't very good, but I did realise if you take your time, you can get a half decent result, but I'm not very good at taking my time. Okay, let's crack on with that, making that mould then. So my mould is dry. It's been a couple of hours. Still a little bit of glue in there, but I've put some cling film in there just to make sure it doesn't corrupt my mould. I've added 3 needles, tap those in. So we're now going to attempt to place the mould the fish, the roach, perch, proach, whatever it is, I don't know. I'm pushing this down on the needles. Scary. The idea is that this will hold it firm and level. Already we've got a problem that leg is a bit dodgy, but that's right. How am I going to measure this? Just got to be along the middle really, actually. That is about 15 mil down the centre line, and that's a bit high, sorry, a bit low. Bring that up a little bit. 15 mil, that's now too high. Take that down to about 12 mil. Take this down to about 12 mil. Okay, as long as we've got enough to get some silicone underneath, we should be good. Okay, it's getting hot in the shed again, just when I'm using the plasticine. Perfect. And now my little head. I think there's a joke there somewhere. Actually, I'm wondering if it might be better going through the top. Okay, let's mix up a little bit of silicone. Got to try and judge this right. I don't need very much. I definitely don't want to come up short, that would be annoying. Going to be using a pure mixture. I would say 50-50, 50 grams and 50 grams, 100 ml total. Should do it. Okay, I've mixed up 80 grams. I had to open the door because it's getting warm in here again. I've got a feeling I should have mixed up 100 because so much. Do you know what? For once, I think I might have judged it about right. Didn't want to waste 20 grams, did I? Obviously it will settle a little bit. But I will only really, because it's a plasticine mould, I'm not going to get a, oops, wasn't very clever. Not going to get a second chance to clean it up. So I need to be as accurate as possible first chance. Okay, how are we looking? I don't really want to go any deeper in case it's not enough. Sorry, in case it's too much. Okay, I'm going to give that a full cure, and I'm going to try and pick those dodgy bits off. I suppose I could actually take it out and then put it back in again, but not the plasticine, because that would definitely be dodgy. I think that is about it. Okay, time to go shopping. Oh, don't want to do that. There's no point trying to tidy it up until it's actually cured. Once it's cured, I can just run a knife along there and hopefully peel those bits off without damaging the plasticine, and then I can pour my next half on there with some mould release on there as well. Trouble is, the mould release and the plasticine don't get on very well, so I need to avoid putting it on there. Okay, back in an hour. Okay, that's the cleaned up mould. I'm actually going to slice it now and then put it back in the mould. Add a little bit of cling film and pour the next half. I'm going to put this in the freezer when it's done to make this go hard, so that I can get it out without leaving a load of blue in there, because it's a bit of a mess. Ready for the second pour. There's one or two air bubbles I've noticed in my mixture. I need to get myself one of those vacuum chambers. But to be honest, I'm not that bothered. I'm not looking for Marling Bates perfection. Probably because I'll never achieve it. Okay, let's do the next layer. Morning. Okay, we're back in the shed, continuing with our lure project. Hard work this. It's bloody hot in here again. I don't know if you can see that, but I have made some jig heads. Didn't quite go to plan, but I mean that's obviously a roach, isn't it? This one, something went a bit weird with. I think the mould slipped. That one looks a bit more like a pike. But you get the idea. Let me see how much they weigh. 9 grams. Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so behind me there is a the body of the lure is just curing. I gave up with the hot silicone. I haven't got the right kit. I ended up with just like a sort of horrible grey gloop that I couldn't pour, and it was horrible. So I gave up with that. Also, it really smells. Need a microwave, I think. So I gave up with that, and we've gone for a pure yellow silicone, which will probably look all right. It might be a little bit stiff, but it should be okay. So I'm going to make 2 of those, and then we're going to go fishing on the hottest day of the year. Possibly might get a chub. I don't know. I'm not holding out a lot of hope, but I've got a couple of nice spots to try, so at least we get a bit of fishing.